right. June 29th, 2022. Sedona, Arizona. 1385 89A in West Sedona. We're the door in the building that faces the main highway, 89A, across from Whole Foods. If you're in Sedona and you want to come by and make the connection, or maybe you want to make the connection and we'll sit down together and we'll do a little show. We got a lot of friends in Sedona, a lot of friends of friends, so anybody that sees this broadcast, we're going to be doing it every single day besides our Soul Speaks 5Ds and some intuitive music jams at night. So we should be doing, 5, 6, 7 hours a day of broadcasting. Just making it up as we go. I've been getting the intel for a while this year in a slow way. You know how some of that intel, the downloads or the information or the guidance, it comes through in pieces over an extended period of time. And I had been getting, I think the last couple of years for me with, getting a house with Morgan and having a house for the first time in quite a few years for myself, was kind of a big holding space and integration period. I know it's hard to really define everything that happens, but because it's also multidimensional and multifaceted. But I've been getting the call, there's going to come a time when the most important thing is that you get out and you broadcast as much as possible every single day as things really start to accelerate. And part of that guidance is to put new faces and old faces who have got new faces is to put them out there. So I invite anybody in Sedona, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Prescott, anyone that's passing through Sedona, even if you don't know Soulogy or you don't know Todd Medina, just come by 89A, 1385. It's the door facing 89A across from Whole Foods. So it's pretty easy to find out in West Sedona. But anyway, my kids always love to call me when I start doing the show. But anyway, yeah, so, you might see me coming on like I am right now, where I'm still half out of my body, like we all experience. But the guidance that I've been receiving on a personal level about my contribution to Soulogy and to the world and the community and to myself and to my partner has been the day will come, or the days will become more expansive and comprehensive in terms of the broadcasting. And it's about getting out there as much as possible and representing what everybody is going through. So if you feel like crap, you get up there and do it anyway, because this is something that I think we're all coming to terms with. We had a beautiful show yesterday with a beautiful couple. I would highly recommend anyone to watch it, whether you're in a relationship or not. And so much came through with what they had to say and share. But there was a couple of major takeaways, and one of them was two people in any type of relationship can actually have conversations with each other's inner children. And I thought that was really provocative, We spend a lot of time talking about finding our inner child, but to be able to discuss from your perspective and voice of your inner child, who we know is feeling less than complete, and able to express that to another person, be it your partner, somebody else in some other type of connection or relationship, is a very powerful thing to do that, and vice versa. The other thing that it really was a big takeaway for me yesterday, and I tell everybody, go watch that show, and I'm crying in it, and I can't even begin to explain it, but somebody said, I don't want to see you sad. I think it was Morgan, and I'm like, it wasn't sadness. It was coding. Having a conversation with people or two people or whatever is more powerful than any download I've ever gotten. And I could put mine up against with anybody's in my mind, because mine have included apparitions, both translucent and solid, and many other things like so many of us out there. But having a conversation with a mirror who's in the physical human body, who is transparent as they can be and vulnerable as they can be, and the exchange is made, I don't believe there's any more powerful activation, download, channeling that we can have at this time. But the second takeaway that I got from that show was a really big one, and I think it's something that we could all think about. And that was that when we project, when we act out, and we're all going to do it, every single one of us. I don't see anybody walking on water. Not to deny the transparency of the energy that we're expressing. You see what I mean? When we're acting or reacting, even, that is as transparent as you can be, right? I mean, that is 100% transparency, because we've lost, our balance or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, that's the part of us that wants to be, one of the parts of us that wants to be heard. So one of the big takeaway I had yesterday talking to this beautiful couple was that don't deny your transparency. I mean, the transparency of your projection or of your acting out or whatever the case is. And that's what we do. And that's why it was such a mind-blowing thing for me, because I thought, that's what we do. We act out, and somebody says, hey, you're acting out. And we're like, no, we're not. No, I'm not. How much power would it be to say, I am? Wow. Because, we treat projection and we treat actions from shadow, unresolved shadow, as a disease. And it's not a disease. Talking to these people yesterday, it's a doorway to the cure. Transparency is the cure. And so I was just sitting there talking to him, and I was thinking, wow, everybody does this. Everyone's done this. You act out, you project, and then you go, and somebody says something, and you go, no, I didn't. We all do, right? So I just thought it was a very important, interesting, and intriguing takeaway, because it's so rare that we find tidbits like that that we haven't heard before, right? It's new code. And it may seem like, oh, that's not true because it's coming from a human. But you know what? We're no longer just human. We're divine human. We're multidimensional human. The human's on point. So what the human does is the most important thing in our multidimensionality. And as it takes a seat of equality at the round table of our monadic core, the monad that lives within us, in this present incarnation or series of incarnations, the human is on point. And so our multidimensional conglomerate council has been waiting for the human to step in its power, and that's what we're doing now. So this is my offering, because like many of us, I'm understanding what my purpose is. And like I said, I've been told this was coming and to be broadcasting as much as possible, be it something like this where, you play a little music or pull up, read posts off of social media, talk about topics, pull people in from the audience, which I'm going to do in a minute, whether it be a Soul Speaks 5D episode, such as the one we're going to have in an hour and 37 minutes with Nicola Farmer, should be fantastic. Or if it's going to be a impromptu, somebody stops by the studio, as Jess Maitrey is probably going to stop by today, who just moved to Sedona, and we'll sit down with her and have a impromptu Soul Speak 5D right here. or if it's a jam with Ty and Amethyst like we did last night. This was a situation. I'm with two professional musicians, in a studio. And I'm like, whoa, I was so nervous and self-conscious. I just saw it as a way or a vehicle for me to break through fear, to put myself in the holy darkness, the mother's womb, to create something new in myself and for the world and for the universe, and also to be an example. Because I don't think there's really any right or wrong. I think we know this now. I think the only thing that could even be identified as close to being wrong would be if we don't take what we've figured out and learned from disclosure, conspiracy, self-awareness, the whole kit and caboodle, and apply it to our moment-by-moment existence. And I just feel like that something really big is happening. Soulogy is going to do everything it can to be a part of it. Myself, Morgan, all the people involved. But I really feel like that it's a time where we're getting way beyond the steps of our vulnerability that we haven't touched, maybe in this lifetime or in many lifetimes. And from that, those steps of vulnerability, those levels of vulnerability, they run out because they run into full transparency and 100% telepathy. So I just, feel like I wanted to say that because, if my team, the you, me, we, and it, is telling me to get on this thing 5, 6, 7 hours a day with a variety of different expressions and programming and offerings, then I would imagine a lot of the time I'm going to have to be doing some talking when nobody else is on the thing. Anybody have any questions, by the way? Please put it up. I recognize a lot of your names, over the years, and I just, I know it's a pretty large community that we have all created together, because it's not me and it's not Morgan. And I recognize people's energy, and I recognize their names and their pictures and images. And Cindy Townsend Kemsky's one of them. So I saw her comment here. She's from Phoenix. So, yeah, Cindy, if you decide to head this way, first of all, thank you for your love and support contributions, everybody, that allows us to keep doing this every day. It's been a miracle to build it. And now it's about to really take off. And I saw a long time ago how Soulogy would be a major player in what they call 5D commerce, which is based on the honor system, based on paying it forward, and based on gifting. And that one day it would supersede and overtake or transform the existing financial structures in this world. Everyone here's helped that happen. And so I just want to say thanks to Cindy and to everyone else that's a part of this community. I find myself a little bit choked up these last couple of days, as even the last few days, and not in a bad way. I just feel like that we're digging in the heart really, really deep. People are talking about a lot of heart expansion, and I think what comes with that heart expansion is some deep, deep emotions and reverence. I had a lot of tears in that program yesterday with that beautiful couple. I wasn't sad. I was taken by the reverence and the wisdom and the love and the connection and the synchronicity. And yeah, did I miss Morgan? Absolutely I do. But it was part of that, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't a sadness, so if you see tears coming out of me, it's probably not going to be sadness. Although it's just depths of emotion that I think that not just me, but that everybody's coming into. And that's the truth. It's not a war out there. The platforms, the clickbait platforms, clickbait programming, and I don't mean that in a disparaging or bad way, but the salacious and the sensational, the conspiracies, the theories, the narratives. They're just stories. And at the end of the day, they're all distractions from who we are, and what we're a part of. God, Goddess, Source, Universe doesn't make junk. We have a skewed perspective in this realm, this fishbowl of a realm in the far corner of a dark part of the multiverses, but we're flipping that thing upside down and we're coming out swinging. And like everything else in the universal evolution of wisdom and love, it's a paradox. So what was the smallest, weakest, most shrouded pinpoint in the multiverses? We have flipped this mother, right? And it is the outer energy of the crest of a giant tsunami that is built on the transformation and alchemization of the most dense material that spirit has ever converted and integrated. That's what we're doing. It's what we're doing. I'm seeing it everywhere. I went to breakfast yesterday and by myself, and I was 2 tables away from 4 people sitting in a booth, and there was one man. It was quite interesting because he was telling the other 3 people, and I was there an hour trying to do some work, eat a couple of eggs and a piece of toast, have some coffee and wake up. And the entire time I was there, I guess he felt like he was educating these other 3 people. Now, these people were about 70 years old. And they looked to be what we might classify, or some might classify, I'm not going to, as unawake, especially given their age, their generation. They were dressed very much of that generation. Even the man that was doing the talking, he had like on pressed khakis and a pressed T-shirt, you know. But the entire time he was talking to them about, Carl Schwab and the World Economic Forum and the Bilderbergs and COVID and vaccine and going into really in-depth stuff. And on one hand, I was going, can we schedule an interview of you? Yes, but I can't tell who you are because it says Facebook user. And on that platform, go to my page, Todd Medina, and then put it up and I'll know who you are, or send me a message. But anyway, 2 things came in. One, it was the distorted masculine dominating the conversation, not to be confused with a man or a woman, because it's a quality, or let's say a symptom, of the patriarchal's impression upon a man or a woman. Typically it will be a man because that's what society has afforded. But there's always exceptions. So on one hand, there was that part of it. On the other hand, there was a person who obviously, at 70-ish years old, had woken up, who had begun to question. I heard him, 9/11, and the vaccine and the COVID thing threw him over the edge. That was his 9/11. So it was very, very cool to listen to a man. And I think a lot of us can relate to this because when you woke up, when I woke up, what did we do? We went out and wanted to tell the whole world, tell our family and friends and everybody, for the most part, said, you know what? You're out of your effing mind. He's crazy. She's crazy. So he was probably going to go through the same thing. It's funny, too, when they got up from the table, they all got up, and the 3 people he was talking to had this look on their face like, oh, my God, this guy is crazy. And he was still talking to them. But it was just an interesting little thing, you know. All right, so what's happening, Marita? Bat Shashan. I like that. Bat. Marita. So listen, Bruce is in the house, Soulogy comedian in the YouTube crowd. He'll be coming to the Soulogy Fest on August 26th, 27th, and 28th to entertain us with a comedy stand-up improv. That's August 26th, 27th, 28th in the Ozark Mountains at Mulberry Mountain. Hello, Thea Magdalena. Di H. Awake, we are one. Gratitude. Adrian Binkley. Francisco Leandro. So what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put out, let's see. I'm going to put out, okay, so Jess Maltree is going to come by the studio at 2:30. So right after the show with Nicola Farmer, that will be in an hour and a half. So that'll run from like an hour to an hour and a half. Then Jess Maltree is going to come into the studio. We'll do a show. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to put this link on Facebook and YouTube. Anybody that wants to come into the studio and have a chat, I'd love to see some new faces. If it's an old face, that's okay too. Why don't we give it, give it like 5 to 7 minutes per person so everybody can have some time, and we'll just play it by ear. I think what I'm going to do while I put this this link out on the different social media, the different platforms, we're on 5 platforms, I'm going to play a clip. Why don't we do that? Let me play a clip, and if I can, because I've been having some problems. Our hard drive went out, but let me see if I can find something here that's still working. All right, let's see. Let's pull one from the Soulogy Fest. How about that? Let's pull one from the Soulogy Fest. Let's do. I know this one's working. So, all right, just bear with me. Okay, so the I am so. Okay, here we go. Let's do these kids, man. These kids are cool. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, it's not there. All right. I think something ate up all of our stuff on the hard drive, and that's not really a good thing. No, that's not there. Okay, let's just put on some music. How about that? There we go. Sorry about the delay. Here, let's just do a little bit of back here. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna put up the link. So anybody that wants to come in, you're more than welcome. Let me put it up Facebook. I'll put it on my page on this broadcast. Let's see. Yeah, we can come in and talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. You know, I'm up for it. Andrea Watson. Great comment. I appreciate that. Wow, very cool. Paste. All right, there it is. I put it up on my page. I'm going to put it up on YouTube. Here we go. All right. YouTube, boom. So all you got to do is click that link, and you'll come into the green room, and I'll bring you up as quick as I can. Right? All right. Turn this off so we don't lose any. Yeah. Okay, man. All right, so I put it out there. Anybody that wants to come in. Keith Hill, he's going to be coming, hitting the stage with us. I see him in the audience. Keith, if you want to come in, just click that link. And anybody else, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, let's mix it up a little bit. Wow, something trippy's going on here. Something good must be happening because I've slept in the office the last couple of nights out of choice. My dear friends Ty and Serena have offered me a bedroom, but I have slept in the office for some reason. The Mother Sedona called me, and then plus I'm just doing a lot of work at night, so it's all been good. But yeah, so I was here the first night and I saw a couple of apparitions, and I told Ty, but Ty's multidimensional and Serena's multidimensional, so their place is multidimensional. And right now, as I was just thinking, what can I do before, until somebody comes in? Whoever is the Facebook user on the platform, I can't see your name, says I'd love to join. Go to my page, find the link. It's there, and come on in. But anyway, something just got thrown off the wall. So I'm just going to go ahead and try a little something here while we're waiting. Let's see. Let's do this thing here. Let's violate some copyright. How's that? It's a pretty cool little instrumental. We'll just do this until somebody comes in, man. And if you come in the green room, just sit tight. I'll pull you up when I can. Just, I had this thing I was working on. It's really about Morgan and the Ascension, but I'm going to just speak it out. Try to work out the rhyme. Let's see. Yeah. It's called I May Never. I may never sing but one song perfectly. Every bit of it would be about you and me, the three, the Trinity, the Soulogy tree. Nothing I could erase can be replaced, adjusting perfection and disgrace. I couldn't find this place where my heart meets yours till I felt the traces of your unfolding, willed my life to the power of us, willed my life to yours, willed my life to mine. Then life became emboldened. When I touch you, I touch the golden. I feel it on my fingertips, graces, loves, lust, and bliss. I would be remiss to miss the kisses, the mother goddess's own magic magnificence, unicorn transcendence, universe's eclectic ambitions, breaking tantric traditions, defying earthbound superstitions, refining impossible expectations, redefining DNA reputations and relations. Risking life's mysterious resurrections, soul inflections, life's redirecting takes you to a place without conceptions, where there's no such thing as misconceptions or internal insurrections, elections, rejections, and interceptions, nothing but the personal self-introspection, directing of expressions of a new affection. What we think we believe, we live to see unconsciously, conceived and awakened to the seed of what feeds our life force consciously and eternally, alleviating nightmares and transforming dreams. Destination is the journey to the light of our beings. Make the make-believing. I know which way I'm leaning. I won't stop till my heart is screaming. I'm already dreaming, freeing my soul's feelings. You feel my heart's dreams? I love you, Morgan Lee. Divine feminines, Follow her and observe. There's a magic to what you heard. Journey of the Mother Earth. Everyone's gotta be heard and everyone gonna be heard. Word up is the word of the day. One day we were gonna say, hey, we ripped it, loving Mother Mystic, never would have missed it. Life is ascension, it's a trip, we know this. Internal, eternal gnosis, every timeline, every dimension, it's spaceless right here, right now. Life ain't coming, it's what you're getting right here, right now. What we think we believe, we live to see unconsciously, conceived and awakened to the need, the seed of what feeds our life force consciously and eternally. Let's let the light we are reflect us. You know love never has neglected us. Triple golden hieroglasmic nexus. Roll the chakras, root, sacral, and solar plexus. She's from down under and I'm from Texas. Our hearts are exposed and explosive. We're closing, predisposing. Old lives are closing. Dusty pink and rosy clouds. Light beams, live streams, old dreams are the new thing. Free will, respect, and sovereignty. New dreams are regulating the newest evolution. Humanity is on point. It's a soul revolution, the ultimate solution, resolution, absolution, cosmic contribution, new earth constitution. When we in confusion, we in confirmation of the newest creation. A galactic elemental transcendence, a beautiful newly coded initiation, universal PlayStation covering every single dream and every perceived devastation. Anyway, ran out of music. So we got somebody in the house. Let's see what's going on here. Hang on a second. Let's see here now. Let me pull you up. All right, let me turn the music off first. Hang on. All right, man. Thank you for Neck Clipper, No Thing. Neck Clipper, NECK CLIPPA on YouTube. Hope you don't mind if we used your tune, brother. All right, let me pull up John. I believe this is John DePass, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Sure is. What's up, brother?
Hey, brother, what's up, man? I loved your bars, man. They were great.
Thank you, man. We're just killing time. Hang
I
on, let me.
love it. I love how you're killing time. I had to reach out. I was loving what you were saying. I was hearing the alchemy in your message. I was hearing the masculine and the feminine, and I was just drawn to it, brother.
Right on, man. So, dude, we haven't talked in a while. Are you in Canada?
Yeah, I'm in Canada, just outside
you look
Toronto.
good.
Thanks, man.
You look good,
Pulling
man.
up on 50 now. It's my 50th birthday, just about to come.
Dude, I'm 60. This past
Wow.
December, I turned 60.
Wow, man, you're doing it right, though, for 60.
Yeah, right.
You're,
Ah.
because I'll tell you, like, what I see is mostly 60-year-old men is we're getting grouchy, cranky.
Oh, no. I think
This
that's
is what I see generally in the world, but I don't see that in you, brother.
well, yeah. Sometimes I have my moments, so
Well,
don't
we
think
all do. We all do, but I see you working on your feminine.
Yeah.
You're working on your feline.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it's crazy all this masculine and feminine talk sometimes, but I mean, it is relevant. Like Morgan always says, because I mean, I used to challenge her a lot on it. And but she'd say, I chose to be a woman. You chose to be a man. There's a reason for that. There's significance to that, and I think that's very true, especially when you consider that. I guess the ultimate, or one of the ultimate metrics of measurement would be embodiment. So if I am that which I am physically incarnated as, then to embody that fully is a part of it, So I don't know, It's still early in the day for me. I drove 2 days. I've been here 2 nights. I drove 20 hours. I was up 32 hours. I slept 4 hours, got up and worked a bunch yesterday, did like 5 broadcasts, and slept about 3 hours last night. And here we are. So you got to talk.
Well, I'm loving the idea of balancing the two sides of the self. I'm loving the idea of balance. I'm loving the idea of nature being about balance, and I think we have to recognize that. And what's happening in nature is just that nature is just breathing.
Yeah.
And this alone is the nature, to just breathe, So just breathing is kind of balancing the two sides of ourself, the masculine and the feminine, like the in-breath and the out-breath. It's kind of what we're entertaining in mind while we breathe. This is kind of what we're creating in our reality. Or are we entertaining worry or fear, or are we entertaining love and kindness and expansion?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think we've gotten to the point now where we're in the no bullshit zone, number one. Telepathy is rampant. So to your point, I don't think there's ever been a more, I mean, I'm biased because I'm here with you guys, troops, boots on the ground, and I'm biased in my devotion and my favor of the human hybrid species. I do believe that we are on point right now in the multiversal, but there doesn't seem to be, I mean, it's such, and I guess I'm kind of tapped into it, but there's such an explosion of personal purity and power through transparency that's occurring in people very rapidly, that's about to absolutely capitulate the physical illusion of control and structure, and therefore the counter to pure unbridled love. So I mean, I have never been more excited than now. And everywhere I turn, I'm seeing signs where people are personally taking their power back, so it's an exciting time, man. What part of Canada are you in?
I'm just outside Toronto. I'm just outside Toronto,
Oh, you're
and
right, Toronto. You're over there by
I
our.
that's an exciting ideas that you're sharing there, and I completely think you're right. Like you're getting more of these open-minded
Mhm.
conversations. You're getting more of acceptance of um, feeling body, how we feel, recognizing our feelings. I think this is like growing and being able to have those dialogues with other men. I feel like this is growing more than ever now, and I think more and more people are open to alternative ideas
Yeah.
than ever. But I wonder about, like the crashing. Like, does it really change structurally, or does it just that each individual just pulls themselves out of that illusion of the world and creates their own kind of world, like that, like the kind of mainstream world kind of continues as is, the earth school that
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
stay in, like
Yeah.
it never.
Yeah. I think that I think there's the absolute. Hey, wait. We're gonna get to our new friend here in 1 second, but I think it's funny because I got this when I came into Sedona, the morning after, which would yesterday. I saw all this stuff happening everywhere and around me, and when I got online, and it was this message was this shift's going down. It doesn't matter what any of you do, it's just happening, right? Like it's a natural evolution that's occurring at let's say the energetic or non-physical state that's having physical ramifications, right? And we are the last to know, but we are on point. It's a really crazy, paradoxical, multifaceted kind of thing to contemplate. But you mentioned men talking to men, and we got a brother in here named Daniel, and he looks very familiar. Daniel, this is John. John, can you see the screen, or what are you seeing?
I'm only seeing myself. I can see the screen a little bit in the
Okay,
bottom
you're on a
corner that
phone.
I
That's
can
why.
just, yeah.
Daniel, I'm just curious. Can you see the whole screen?
Yes, if you hear me good.
Yeah, we hear you. Now, wait a minute. Have we met before? Because you look familiar. Have you been on the show?
It's the first time for me.
Okay. What's your last
I'm a
name?
little,
What's your last name?
I'm the Daniel de Click.
Daniel de
if you
Click.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daniel de Click and John de Pass. Are you Canadian?
I always say, or when someone asks me, I'm human.
You're human, yeah.
But
Well,
yes, yes,
where
but
does your human body live?
in the moment at the place Switzerland.
Oh, you're in Switzerland. All right, man. So we got Canada, Vancouver area, and Switzerland in the house.
Toronto area.
I'm sorry, Toronto. What? I told you I'm half out of my body. So thank you guys for coming and saving
Like me.
saving my ass today. Hey, let's wrap a little bit. We got an hour and 8 minutes before the next show, and next 3 shows. But we got 3 brothers on here, and there's been a lot of. Let me just kind of like preface it, and then I'm going to throw it to John, and then we'll go to Daniel. But like, a lot of people know that when I woke up, I went on the streets by my own choice for 2 years. So that was 2011, 12, 13. Then I came onto social media and got a laptop. And then I started to become familiar with Ascension and Lightworkers, Starseed, everything, all the subjects and subtopics that are involved in this ascension wave, this transition we call ascension. One of the things that was happening early on, 2014, 15, 16, the divine feminine has landed. There was a lot of women, because they make up about 80, and at that time probably 95% of these communities. There was a lot of talk because you could feel the energy of it. It was a very powerful statements, maybe even going a little bit too far, but that's how the pendulum works. No, I'm here, Susie. Come see me. Let's do a show. But anyway, that's my friend Susie. She does great work, by the way. So then, and you would even see comments like, hurry up, the man needs to hurry up, the masculine needs to hurry up. Anyway, I'm going to say a couple of years ago, things start shifting. And what I've observed out there and on the show and through my contacts, through my own personal evolution, has been this softening occurring that carries a tremendous amount of power. It's very much heart-based. It's very much in collaboration with the feminine within myself and in my life and so on. And I'm speaking of the men, not just me. So what I'm trying to say is, over the past year or so, I think the masculine energy, which is primarily seen in the physical man, has been inundated with massive amounts of activations, catalyzing change that have been tough on the human, tough on the psyche, but there is a soft, powerful, true divine masculine energy that seems to be taking hold. And that's just my reflection. I'm not saying I'm right, but I thought just to start it off, and you guys are welcome to talk about anything you want, but let's go to John DePass first, and then we'll go over to Daniel. Well, you got any thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, I do have some thoughts on that, and I have some little bit of a question from that. Like I'm questioning whether things are really changing at all, or if everything is steadfast and unchanging, as it always has been. And it's just that there are more beings that are awakening at the same time. It's not that the world ever changes, that the world is constant, steadfast, and unchanging, but it's that the human perception changes at some point in the life. This is the awakening. I agree with you on this. Like, and all of the things that are associated with the awakening, like changes of ideas, and I think even changes of nutrition, like a lighter nutrition, a lighter food, a lighter fuel for the body, a fasting or a preparation through fasting, and a coming into the body, like you said, the feminine in the body. This is the parasympathetic, or the body mind, or the heart center, or the gut brain. This is the gut brain. It's the feminine. It's the body. And it's to come into the body, to put down the things of mind and come into the body. Now, in the East, they talk about taking an act of refuge on a daily basis. This is an idea where you're putting down the thoughts and the things for a moment during your day. So you're putting down the thoughts and the things, and you're taking up presence. Just the moment.
Yeah.
You're taking up the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all of the above. That's just my opinion. But we'll see what Daniel has to say. All the above. What I mean by that is this. John, we did a couple of shows together, and I've had this conversation with him and other people. But of course, everything is personal to the individual soul. So there's not a blanket approach for anything. We kind of know that. I think all of the above is because what you're saying is, yes, it is what it is. It is what it is. It was, is, and always will be. But there's some type of game or experience that we're sharing where there are some real shedding of the illusion that we created for ourselves so we could find ourselves again. Now, what does that look like? In the reason I brought kind of the masculine up is, and I'll just give a couple quick examples, and then I'll pass it over to Daniel. But, for me, in being a former type A personality, very much, very dominant, very successful in my old life, in terms of competition, in the business and so on, there's certain things that have been ingrained into the man's body, let's just say, per se. That's a metaphor more than it is a literal statement. And these things are built-in misogynistic tendencies towards women. I know that sounds a little bit hairy and a little bit sharp, but it's kind of like Chris Rock says, a man is always trying, and I'm not saying we're all like this, I'm just trying to make a point. It's more of a metaphor with a joke. A man opens the door for you, what's he really saying? A man offers to buy you dinner, what's he really saying? There's these basic patterns of behavior that we have ingrained in us in our DNA that we're having to extract, not really extract, but having to transform. Having to remove and to reveal. And I guess what I'm trying to say is something has happened in terms of the normal behavior of the physical man, and we can see it everywhere. You can see it in the deconstruction of the economy. You can see it in the deconstruction of the government, religion, blah, blah, blah. But when it gets right down to it, what's changed in the individual man? What has been the impact of that feminine that John's talking about? How does that work? Do you feel softer? We'll come back to John with the same question. But Daniel, do you feel softer? Have you noticed any wholesale changes that you made? Have you seen any difference in the level of respect and reverence you have for the feminine period? How has this translated to you? Or is it something totally different? We'll go back to John with what the effect has been on him on a personal level. You go ahead.
The last thing that you said, was it different? Yes. The blood mother of mine always said my daughter to me.
Said what?
But my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
You are my daughter. I oftentimes cleaned the dishes, looked to help her, and do what is possible. And for me personally, the experience was like in the other way, soft and then hard and then repeatedly soft. It is very complex for me, or minimum for me. But what I noticed, I work oftentimes with construction workers, and I noticed there it is, for example, there it is very much spreaded, this hard work, and the man is, you know what I mean? And oftentimes, one time a person said, "Are you gay?" For example, I laughed. I find it funny, but I saw there it was what you said, this hardened and then softened. And then I spoke to the person's brothers, sisters, uncles, fathers, and they were like, my wife, I look for her, the kids, and this soften came out. Right. I think it's I say, like, you oftentimes, or the people, the persons, the brothers, sisters here beautifully said programming. It is this programming. I say it, for example, the men go to work and the women go and wash the dishes and laundry and cooking. And I think here where I am, it is oftentimes like this, like I experience it. But I'm a little nervous.
That's okay, man. So, we got plenty of time. We got at least about 45 minutes. Let me say hi to my sister Divine Roberts here in Sedona. Divine, we are at 1385 89A in the studio for the next 3.5 weeks. If you'd like to come by and sit down and visit, or let me take you to next door to the Thai restaurant or something. We need to reconnect. She's always been a big supporter of Soulogy and all these communities. She's one of those she's what I'm talking about. 80% of what I see out there holding up these communities are those like her who typically have been doing the work for a long time in anonymity without any need for notoriety, which is a very strong, distorted masculine trait. I got to be seen. I got to be seen as smart. But this is the power. That, what she represents, what that lady on here yesterday represented. So many, the woman that I met in Clovis, New Mexico, when I was guided to go there at 10 o'clock at night on the way over here, she carries it. You know, this is a woman who has seen angels in solid form line the street and other divine episodes. These are things that people don't talk about. These women are a little bit tentative to talk about it because of the energetic suppression that they've experienced for years and years and years. Now, what I wanted to go back over to John with was to go off of what you said. I think if we're going to get, I think one of the great things about what's happening right now, we can be very direct. So let's cut the bullshit. What is the most accurate place that we could measure the relationship and connectivity between masculine and feminine when it is two people? We're talking about intimacy. Okay? Now, we know intimacy is not just two people getting naked and jumping under the covers. But our perception of intimacy, our perception as a man of what we are to do when it comes to that, was drastically distorted as it suppressed our sexual energy, our creativity, our root and sacral and solar chakras. So here's where I go back to John with, and John, talk about whatever you want to. But I wanted to ask you, in terms of like, when it comes to intimacy by traditional forms, and I'm talking 3D old paradigm, this was very much a performance thing. Our role in the bedroom was no different than what Daniel just said. We're going to go to work and we're going to bring home the bread. So what happens when we get in the bedroom? We're going to perform because we're a strong man. Did you come? That's a little boy asking after he just performed like a man. So my point is, it's really distorted from the get-go. Have you seen any change? And you don't have to go this deep, John, but you know me, I don't have a filter, and we go as deep as we can. But have you seen a change in your own personal perception or that of your brothers when it comes to approaching intimacy with another human being? Are we finding that there's more sacredness and it's not slam, bam, thank you, ma'am, I need to perform and pound you, I mean, can we have intimate relations, if that's where we're going with this, without a hard-on? Can we connect in other ways? Can we be present, as John talked about? Can we be present in those spaces where there is total vulnerability and transparency, and cut the bullshit and let the little boy loose and let him free, So that's just kind of where I'm going with it. John, I'll throw that hot potato at you. I mean, we might as well get jiggy with it. These women have been out there since 2012, and we know they've been leading the way, and I think we need to give them a little respect and talk about some of this stuff that, let's put our balls on the table and see what happens. Somebody might chop them off, but, we'll see what happens. Go ahead.
Well,
we just got to go for it, man.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there to unpack.
You go ahead.
There.
You go as long as you want. Go 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go to Daniel.
I want to talk a little bit about that. I love some of the things that you said there. One, I think we need to maybe shift our perspective, I think, a little bit on love. I think as we talk about relationships for a very long time, like a lifetime, 20, 30, 40 years, like a lifetime of relationship, that, in order for that to happen, we really have to have our independence. I think we have to be sovereign individuals, two sovereign individuals.
Yeah.
And we have to have the space and the freedom and feel free in our relationship. Like, as soon as you feel, this is a soul having a physical experience for 100 years. Already an infinite, immortal being is being placed in a mortal body for 100 years. So it's already trapped or limited in terms of freedom. So now when you get into a relationship, if the relationship if it feels further trapped, that this will be withering upon your partner's soul. Like this, the relationship needs to create freedom. It needs to create inspiration. These are key elements of making it, work forever. But I really, I also want to talk about, transcending that sexual a little bit, right? And nothing wrong with the sexual, brother. like I don't want to even like make any sound like we have to transcend the sexual, because I think it's very obvious too that sex is like the interaction of of gender, masculine and feminine. That is what creation is.
Exactly.
That's what. Yes.
Exactly.
So like to be like ashamed of our sexualness, or do we have any shame for our sexuality or our desire to have sex? I think we need to kind of maybe let go of this shame here a little bit, because
Yeah, hang on. I want to make sure, and I want you to talk about whatever you want, but there's no shame, blame, ashamed, externalization. I think this is one thing that's happening in this natural evolution. What I'm trying to do is look for evidence. And what I'm saying to you on a personal level, because I know you're also a practitioner, are men changing their perception? It's not about judging, because I mean, we can look at how we acted in the bedroom or any other aspect of our life prior to awakening with shame and judgment and guilt and all that. And we've already, let's just say, for the sake of the discussion, we have neutralized enough of that to be able to have this conversation. So what I'm saying is, have you on a personal level seen a change, a correction, as you've experienced in other parts of your life, let's say to include your diet, okay? Have you seen a refinement that is stemming from the core, that is your perception in a quantum reality, that is being brought into alignment by your thoughts, words, and actions? Have you seen a change in yourself and or your brothers in arms in terms of an approach to intimacy with another human being?
and I absolutely would say yes, with the brothers that are awakening. Like, and I say like, so I don't think that that's so unchanging though. I think that's how it's always been. Brothers that are coming to awakening do this. It's just that there's more brothers than ever coming to an awakening. So do I believe that this is happening? There's more of it, but I think it's just the normal awakening process. That's what happens. Is awakening is a balancing of the two sides of ourself. So it's really coming comfortable with it. So do I don't think it's really a sign of the times.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, because I just got to do what I got to do, because I think one of the characteristics of the distorted masculine that shows up in men and women, but primarily in men because that's the role we have, is bullshit. Basically,
yes, it is.
Which is this? Which
yes,
is a.
But
here's the thing.
It's unfulfilling.
But no. But let me.
Men don't awaken from.
Yeah, but no.
Many
But
men
let me throw this back at you, because I want you to continue with this slight alteration to the question. What I'm trying to say is, when I say bullshit, is we talk the talk, but we don't walk the fucking walk. Okay, so when I say. See, here's my thing. I've been sensitive to women my whole life, but I thought I was in the 85th percentile or 90th or 95th percentile, but I wasn't. I was in the 10th percentile. That is not a damnation or a condemnation. But what I'm trying to say is, have we really gone into an intimate situation with a lover? And again, it doesn't have to be opposite sex, because we respect all realities. But what I'm trying to say, have we gone into an intimate relationship post-awakening with sanctity and grace and purity, and doing and taking the same concept of meditation and clearing our mind and having a universal experience? This is a huge thing, and I don't think for 1 second that, and I'm the biggest optimist in the world, I don't know what the number is or the percentage, but I don't think 10% of the men, including me, on this planet haven't got it figured out. All I'm trying to do is open up a dialogue with a physical gender that has a reputation, all of us, me, you, that has a reputation for not being in touch with themselves, not being straight with themselves, because this world has given them false power, and this is a huge mask to shed to find our true reality. And I think it's a very important part of this evolution right now, because we're beginning to be brought to the center stage to make our contribution as a true divine being. But anyway, that's what I'm getting at. Like, where's the meat and potatoes? Where is the experience based on the actions, thoughts, and words in alignment? I mean, are we seeing this? Go ahead, John.
I mean, I think we are seeing it in the people that are awakening, and I think that there are more men awakening than ever. I think there's just more people awakening, more men awakening, and those men are doing these things, doing this work, doing this feeling body work, where that's what needs to happen when you want to awaken, when you want to come into more balance and love for yourself and your partner. I mean, I've been with my wife for 25 years, so she has been with me during my awakening. So like the people that are awakening are doing this work. You have to awaken. That's
well. Let me
awakening
ask you this way. Let me ask you this way, because we don't want to block Daniel out. When I don't want to get too personal, John, don't answer this question if it's too personal. Okay. In fact, let me go to Daniel with it, and then we'll see if John wants to touch it. Let's do that.
I love to listen to it.
Now, let me ask you a question. Okay, so here's the thing. You go to bed with a woman that you have feelings for. What do? What's the first thing you do? Let me just tell you what the lineup is. You're going to kiss her, and you're going to run your hands on her. You're going to touch her breast, and you're going to put your mouth to her breast. You're going to go down on her, and then you're going to enter her. Does that sound familiar for most men? Does it?
Yes.
Does it or does it not? Now,
For me.
okay, now here's the question. Has that changed? And here's the other question. Who are you doing that for? Because every man that I've talked to, and most of them have been high-frequency men, some of them that you see on the air with consistency, that I would consider leaders in these types of communities. When I talk to them and ask them these questions, because they were asked of me, and that's how I found my way, yeah, I'm doing it for her. Well, of course I'm doing it for her. Really? Are you really doing it for her? Really? Come on. And then what happens if you don't have relations in the morning? What do you do when you go in the shower? Do you masturbate? Be honest. Okay? Because this is the only way we are going to get to the point of embodying. It's not what we say, it's what we do. So, John, we're going to go back to John because he's married, and I want to respect his marriage, and he can add to it. I think it'll be safer that way. I don't know if you're married, but it doesn't matter now because I already threw it at you, Daniel. So, Daniel, do you understand? Is that how do you perform, or are you present? Because if you haven't altered the template of your performance, and this goes for me, goes for John, goes for every man. It's a question. It's not a judgment. Have you altered post-awakening your approach and your methodology, if you use that word, to intimacy? Because if we're still doing the same old thing, guess what? We're fooling ourselves. And there's the bullshit I was talking about. Go ahead, Daniel, and then we'll go back to John.
I say to this that's a momentarily, how you say it, enjoyment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I have done it, but I was like, how you say this?
You have done what? You have done the slam bam thank you ma'am, or you have done the I'm being present and I'm going to try something new and be open. Okay.
Present, but then goes over to this pleasurement. Yes, this pleasurement. You know, and it was weird, and afterwards. It was a mix, sometimes a mix, sometimes more, sometimes less. I have made this, for me, many experiences. It was good. I have it is possible with that to help another person with this information or experience when I talk to them. The first thing, both energies of you two are enormous. I'm like overflowing.
Well,
um,
John's on a lot. I'm on a lot. So don't feel. I mean, you're doing great, man. You're holding.
it's
We're not.
it's I sometimes cried when I was like lurking a long time
Really.
in the background, and I cried sometimes when you said you are sensible to very sensible to energies or how you speak. All what you said till that moment before was very beautiful explained. The
Mm,
other thing was the comments. I read the comments on the Facebook page very beautifully. um, and to go back to this, I had before life partner uh, that they or humans gave the name schizophrenic, but
right.
I believed that, and I continuously believe that love heals all, and it was from the first time or 1 year or like this from this calendar. um, it was good, and then it became like uh, the good word is distorted. It was
Right.
weird.
Right.
But another thing, what I would like to say, yes, this distorted masculine. When I heard the first time this, I only nodded. I watched a video where he said this, and I only nodded, like nonstop. Yes, yes, distorted, without judging,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and I loved uh, how specifically said to you, we I recognize we both talk very similar, or choose the words
Mm-hmm.
very similar, and then I said, "Whoa, distorted masculine." Yes, I felt constantly something very hard, like hard,
Mm-hmm.
and it was constantly very weird for me. I was more, um, yeah, more friends with women's than with men, and I have made some. I have made experiences, sexual experiences, and this is interesting. I was, like I said, more friends with sisters or women's than with men. I looked at that I protect them. I have many stories for that, but I protect them there. I was feeling like I should protect them from other men who came like, "Hey, baby," or "baby girl," you know what I mean. And
Mm-hmm.
this had disturbed me, and I had more fat on my body, and I was big, and I think they were scared for me, and sometimes I said, "Nah, F your, you know what,"
Well,
and
this
go
is a
away.
great contrast because John's been a bodybuilder.
Oh,
We'll get some good feedback from him, and he's been in a relationship for 20 plus years. So keep going, and we'll go back to John. Keep going,
yes, yes.
Daniel. Keep going.
The the beautiful thing is for me, only what is possible to say is how you explained it or question it. It was very beautiful. I
Mm,
say this is already like you said, high coach. I say high experience.
mm-hmm.
For me personally, when a person speaks like that, he has a very big experience in this.
Right.
Uh, he recognize what is going on. For me, the
Okay.
feeling was oftentimes like the man that I met oftentimes don't recognize what they're doing.
Right.
I have the feeling, and I felt they are like in a loop or this
Yes.
program.
Yes.
And then I said many times to the people, I have an aura for honesty aura. When people are around me, they directly speak or tell the truth or speak honestly. One time, a person stand beside me, only stand, and starts to speak. Yeah, I have problems with my wife, and then I was like, "Oh, good." And there, I recognize this, like you said, this good word, contrast from one to another. like asleep and then awake.
Right.
They're like whoop, and then
It's,
yeah, I know. I gotta look.
that's a really good point, and I think in fairness, like to what John was saying earlier, like anything in Ascension, you don't flip a switch and it's done. The days
Yeah.
of people standing in front of us and going, "I got this shit figured out, just follow my directions," are fucking gone. Okay, it's over.
Instant.
And I use the F word specifically for my brothers because I'm trying to make an impact here. Because I'm tired like everybody else. I want to be living on an island, laying naked on the beach with my beautiful wife, drinking whatever the hell they're serving and eating fruit. But what I wanted to say was we're gonna have an ebb and flow. It's not gonna be perfect every time. Somebody's got some feedback. Hang on. We're good. Wait, hang on. Let me just kill that. Okay, there it is. It's on John's. I'll turn John back on in a second. We're going to pass it over to him.
It is interesting.
Yeah, right, isn't it? The interference, it happens all the time. You should have seen the David Icke interview. He turned into 3 people and started speaking galactic. But but anyway, John brought up a good point because we're not going to move forward with the judgment and the condemnation, the self-judgment and self-condemnation, which can be identified 2 ways. Obviously, from the negative self-talk, and secondly, from the way we negatively talk and refer to others. So one of the things that I've seen, and I know John can relate. I don't know what happened to him. He's gone. I hope I didn't run him off. But 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds we've been in the broadcast, so we must be doing something right. But John, come back, John, unless your battery went out. But seriously, seriously. Okay, so I have a conversation with a brother. He's very lit. He asked me about sacred sexuality. He's with a partner, long time. Both of them are very lit. Says to me, I said to him the same thing I said to y'all. Is this the process that you use? Are these the steps that you take when you're lovemaking? Why? Oh, I'm doing it for her. Oh, no. Let's really think about it. Okay. Oh, you know what? You're right. And I said, okay, now what do you do if nothing happens in the morning? Well, I go in the shower and I masturbate. And I said, and he's like, well, do you? And I said, no, not really. No. I mean, and without getting into all my part of it, I'm just saying that he asked me and I told him. And he was like a bit shocked. And he said, well, it's something that just has to happen. And I said, well, wait a minute. What do you think about when you do it? Boom. All right. There's another boom. What do you think about when you do it? Okay. So all I'm trying to say is the program is extremely deep. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of different aspects of our experience and our programming to neutralize and alchemize. But I'm a firm believer, because of the body, mind, and soul reality, and because of the history of the information and data that we've received, thank you, social media, and all those that came before us that kept the fire burning, that the sexual power is the life force energy, and it has been shrouded to the nth degree in every man, woman, and child on this earth. Just look at the levels of sexual molestation. They say 4 out of 5 women and 1 out of 5 men. I think that part's bullshit. I think there's been a lot more men molested. But my point is, why don't we go straight to the root? No pun intended, but if you want to take it that way, that's fine. Why don't we go straight to the root of the tree and examine our behavior in sexual intimacy, understanding that intimacy occurs at any and all times. But the most physicalized part of it would be the actual act between 2 people, right? Like, why are we afraid to talk about it? Because whatever we're doing is our transparency. What we do is we deny our transparency. If I say to you, you are mistreating women because you perform every time you go to, you just told me this is what you do every time. And you come back and say, no, I don't. Or you know what I mean? We try to deny our actions. that is transparent. Our actions are transparent. Our programming comes out in our actions. And so why don't we talk about it? Because I think we owe it to the women to talk about it. And because I'm tired and I want to get to the after party and have a couple of drinks and smoke some Angel Trust.
I think it starts from the judgment. This is when you said it beautifully with the judgment, no judgment, and I think it is where it started. I stopped that, or I made this experience, but this judgment, you question someone why, or you say to someone, you did this, you did this, you did this, and then it is another standpoint, or another standpoint than when you're talking to a person, is it man or woman, and only, for example, listen. But why you do this, or are you feeling good with this?
Mm-hmm.
This is, for me, totally. It is another energy than you say directly. You do this and this and that, and I think, and one big word or one big thing is shame.
Mm-hmm.
I love it how precise you explain it. It is the shame. I think that was instrumental. How you say it? Instrumentalized, or
Yeah.
it was making. They made an instrument from this, like the pornography and all that.
Yeah.
And to that the man, I think the man more, but this is irrelevant. Shame. Ask a question there, a person or a brother or sister directly, do you look pornography? Some would say yes or no directly, but how I experienced, many have, yeah, but it was this shame somewhere. And even if they did yes, it was, yeah, I met men or brothers and sisters, they said yes, and why it is nothing grave. But yeah, I have oftentimes felt this shame when it goes to speaking of sexuality.
Yeah.
And this is, for me, is very intense, this feeling. If you
Right.
stand if you stand there by the persons, and then it starts, and then you feel this intensive shame and this energy, shame. Like, yo, one time you said it beautifully. But this is, I think, the shame is something.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's all of us, every man, woman, every one of us. There's been shame associated with the distortion, and I think we can also, give ourselves some consideration. I'm tired. My mind is just taking a little bit longer than normal. By understanding that this isn't just due to what has apparently been put upon us, or that, if depending on where we're coming from, what we put on ourselves or on another. So whether we were a victim, a victimizer, a manipulator, a manipulator, manipulatee, it's all programming. So that neutralizes the personal affront that we might have towards a situation, or a recurring theme, or a person. So now that we've reached that point, and we understand that it's all programming. A woman just wrote at the top of the show a really interesting comment. She said that she felt, and I think she said some of her sisters felt, that one of the things that's up right now is men are feeling a tremendous amount of shame for not having been in a more divine role at the beginning of this ascension, or beginning of this period, let's just say 2012. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying to conclude it and hand it back to you, just talking about it. If you don't want to talk about it, which is two things. One, you say, I don't want to talk about it. Or two, You avoid what's being talked about by changing direction and moving back into the template of the egocentric masculine, which is the actual personification of what's been shrouded in his sexuality and creativity, right? So if we can't have a conversation, then we're not going to go anywhere. And if you think about the relationship, the Mars, Venus, men and women, what have women always looked for? Talk to me. Well, we didn't fucking know how to talk to ourselves. But now if we can create a dialogue and talk to each other, because I don't have the answer, she doesn't have the answer, and you don't have the answer. The only way the answer is going to be found, and the only way we're going to form new code, our universal offering, the result of our experience in this living library that we've created, okay, the only way we're going to create that code is to begin talking about it and having a true dialogue where there's no grandstanding, there's no, hey, look at me, look at what I know, let me show you what I know, where there's just this, what's going on with you? You know? And let me tell you something, I'm a very open person, but if we had that conversation right now, even if we were alone, I wouldn't go that deep with you. I need to take it step by step by step. So I'm going to throw it back to you because you're French. And I'm sorry, are you French?
I mix Serbish.
Serbish. Oh, I was going to say. Well, anyway, you got that funky accent. It sounds French, so you must have more of an aptitude when it comes to the questions of love and intimacy. I'll hand it back to you.
Usually I speak die deutsche Sprache, the German language.
That's very beautiful, man. Speak a little bit of that.
Ja,
very nice.
Ich kann die deutsche Sprache sprechen. Je nachdem versteht mich jemand, wenn ich das rede.
So that's German? That's German?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Right on.
Swiss German is like,
Swiss
je nachdem.
German.
Yeah, it has two. This one was German. The other one, what I'm going to speak, is Swiss German. Je nachdem versteht mir jemand, was ich rede. That's it's different.
I understand because I'm from South Texas, you know, and you have Spanish, and
Yes,
then
I
down
heard
there
that.
they have Tex-Mex. So they'll they'll make up words like Coke, they'll say Coca, or cake, they'll say Keika,
like-
or car, they say
like-
Cara. So I get it, and I get it.
Like in the Japanese language.
So I don't want to run out of time, man. We'll have to get you on. I really appreciate you coming on today, and John DePass coming on today. We're going to be doing this hopefully every day, and just going to see what happens, who shows up, and we'll talk about it. But since we had men come on, you seem to be very open, and you seem to be very sensitive. I can relate to you, and like I said earlier, I know from my life experience, I was in the 95th percentile of sensitivity to women. But what I didn't know was that I was really at 10%. And if that's the case, then and it only makes sense, all of us we had a misinterpretation of our, of our sensitivity or understanding or awareness. You seem to be very tapped in. You said, and I can relate, you said you defended the feminine and et cetera, et cetera. Where do you stand? I mean, where do you stand with these questions of sacred sexuality, of personal power, of creativity, and how do we incorporate that into the embodiment that therefore creates this new coding as a man?
I think if a person, a brother or a sister, let's say brother, listen to the man, I oftentimes said to men, or oftentimes when I are on the construction with construction workers, but less to say, construction workers, brothers that are working on construction. When a woman walk by, it is
Right.
this like typical in the series or movies. Oh, look at this one, and then I say, hey, you have a woman, you have a wife, you have a wife, you should stay silent,
Right.
like a joke. And then I said sometimes or oftentimes the most beautiful thing. is when you are with your life partner. Uh, in the past, I said life partner, and then you how you say groom her, and you know this like you explained it, huh? You go to her, you kiss her with all the soul,
Mm-hmm.
and then have sex with her,
Mm-hmm.
and oftentimes there was silence, like like only silence. Little words came out from different people,
Well,
brothers, but it was that.
yeah.
Yeah, I said this is the most beautiful thing.
Well, yeah. I think it's what we said at the beginning. He goes in. The old man, the old version, goes in. He's a man. He's going to perform, and does so. But
Yeah, and
then, in his mind or verbally, says, "Was it good for you?" Like, what does that tell you right there? What does that tell you? What is presented as this masculine, indomitable, impervious to failure, masculine power enters the bedroom or whatever, the proverbial. Yet, who shows their face when the when it's over? The little boy, because the little
and
boy loves, and the little boy really does want to share and feel love. Yet the
I
little
think
boy was left out of the experience.
I think yeah, I think how, yeah, I experienced, and I saw many brothers have, or sisters in general, have detached like from something in the past, and they I think that's programming, but it is all connected together, and build like a new character, or you know what I mean. And then I think when one remembers without identify with this, with that only, like I said, oftentimes to the people or to the brothers and sisters, keep your inner child alive.
Yeah.
And I had many experiences with persons that have said there directly, yeah, are you a child? I said, what? One time I was like, and I said like, but what are you, have you killed your inner child or what? And zip, and he goes without a word. But I meant it like peace aggressively and peace joke, like a joke. But yes, to go back, before I go the whole way around.
You're going
um,
around it.
yeah, yeah,
Tiptoe
yeah.
through the tulips. Tiptoe through the
Uh,
tulips. Hey,
I
man, at
feel
least
like
at least to have a conversation and to admit that, and I'm saying me, you, to admit that you're moving me into an uncomfortable situation. That's why I'm going to light a cigarette. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, it's okay, man. Because I'll be honest with you, I smoke a few a day, and
Mm.
but I'm making a joke. But no, seriously, to be able to enter, I don't think we can even talk about in depth until we're ready to talk. Because if we're really going to talk, we're going to be uncomfortable from the get go. Okay? The questions that we pose to each other in love and in the pursuit of growth and happiness and
I think
service, it's going to make us uncomfortable. But
I think that what I'm sorry that I interrupt
no,
you.
no, no, I'm good. I interrupted you.
I think all good. I think one, the what I forgot to say, our energies interfere very much. I
I
feel
know.
like,
I know. There's no
oh man,
mistakes.
yes. I said it many times to people. There are no coincidences, um, and that a person is honest.
Yeah.
I say to the people, and I say it like that. I go the way to for from pure to pure honesty, or with pure honesty. I'm I'm honest, pure honest with all, with me, with what I experienced, what I done, all. I
Mm-hmm.
think, and I said many times, like, honesty heals all,
Mm-hmm.
like love, but honesty heals all. What you said, transparency. Many times when you said this, I said, "Oh, beautiful word." Um, and I think this is that when a person is honest and say like I said, without pointing on me, I said it. But I think this is unnecessary to say. To be honest and like have courage to say that the most beautiful thing, for example, the most beautiful thing is to do that and that with life partner or
Mm-hmm.
with the women or men. And I think this is something this is one big reason, or one big, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think I noticed it is often and repeatedly the shame, when a person said this, where I have made this experience, is not, oh, he's gay.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have many times said, what if he was, what if he is gay, what you would like to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing. I have nothing against, and then I have nothing against homosexual. Aha. But yeah, and I said I find this beautiful what he says. It's very beautiful. He's on point.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, and then it was like a mix of energies and feelings and
It
emotions.
doesn't. It doesn't add up, right? I mean, because we are saying one thing and doing another, and that's what I was getting at with John. Was like, okay, you know, there's been a standard line, and the standard line is, I do this for her. Now, there's some asshole men out there too, because we know that that don't give a shit. But that's a very small minority. Unfortunately, the stereotypicality of it all tends to be more slanted that direction. But, I think as in terms of, let's say, what is awakened or what is aware, there are a hell of a lot more men out there that are ready, willing, and able, but they're scared. They don't know what to do. They're confused. All the meaning in their life has been taken away to include stature, job, size of his penis or his truck. And now he's standing there holding a limp noodle. And he's afraid that all the other men are going to see the size of his penis. And he wants to come out just like the women are coming out and speaking now and being heard, overcoming millennia of suppression, oppression, rape, and murder in the DNA. So I think what we have to look at is we've been through the same thing. It's just different. The recipe for resolution is different because of our journey. And so I think we're just getting into it now. And I do believe it'll move much faster than the feminines because the feminine has already knocked the doors down. So I really feel like, and I said this in the beginning before y'all came on, there is no more powerful channeling, transmission, download, or activation than a conversation such as this. And I point everybody back to the conversation with the beautiful couple yesterday. That was a huge download full of code. And my emotions were nothing more than reverence and a tinge of missing Morgan, but the most of it was the sheer profound impact of being in an atmosphere, not just with those two people, but everyone that was there in that vortex that watched it live or watch it replay, because we know there's no linear. This is the potential and the opportunity we have to create from. And when it gets down to the human experience, the human condition of the typical man, you and me and John and all of our brothers, we haven't scratched the surface. And now I think this type of thing will begin to happen. And I welcome you, my friend, in my heart. I appreciate your valor and your courage and your strength and your commitment and sensitivity to both parts of you, the masculine and the feminine. And I hope that you'll come back and share space on Soul Speaks 5D with me.
Yes, I was oftentimes scared.
Well,
And
don't be
then
scared.
You said oftentimes, don't be scared. Uh, have the courage. And then I cried sometimes, and or from it was I smiled, and it was a mix of emotions, and then I came. It was like a call, and this is interesting. The first thing is what the life partner of yours write it. I read it oftentimes on point.
Yeah.
I was like in a weird space, and then I read this, and then wow, this is what I felt like and feel like,
Yeah.
or what I felt like the last time,
Huh.
and it's very interesting.
How would you like
And
to be getting? She downloaded that for years, and I think to me this sums it up the best, right? So she downloaded Sacred Union, in this case, in terms of the context of the conversation, sacred sexuality. So when we came together physically, and we've told this story many times, and I won't go into the details, but we didn't have physical intercourse. In fact, I kept my shorts on for the first 12 weeks. And then she went back, and then she came back the next year, and it still took a few weeks, even when we got married. It took another week or two. But here's my point. As a man trying to understand those rhythms of what she had downloaded, which really is a personification of all women, because they have that intuition, they're closer to it. We're more stuck in the lower chakras. I was frustrated. I didn't understand how do I convey my powerful love, because I know it's there and I know you can relate to this. And I asked her, what are we supposed to do? And she said, I don't know, but I know what we're not supposed to do. See, and that was the first wake up call, because if you take off what you've always done, if you take that out, then what does that leave you? It leaves you like a scared little boy in the corner, right? And so here we go, and this is how we start. And how do we build the newest version of the masculine energy? I believe boots on the ground. It's like conversations like this. So, far out,
yeah.
man. So we're gonna have. Thank you so much, brother. So we're gonna have Daniel. So we're gonna have Nicola Farmer in 9 minutes. Nicola Farmer in 9 minutes. We're going to have Jess Matry coming by the studio about a half an hour after that show's over. And then later on, Amethyst and Ty are going to jam, and we'll see what we can cook up. I hope to see you again. Let's get together, set something up for the next week or two, and come on Soul Speaks 5D, and we'll just talk about this. Or maybe somebody said, Robert Evans said, let's put a men's panel together. I don't know, man. Bring the creative ideas. Let your root chakra be unveiled. Let your new dynamic, divine, masculine, sacred sexuality, creativity explode into this new earth grid, and let's see what we can do, because it's all in the moment now. And I really appreciate you. I love you. And I look forward to getting together with you again. Peace out. And we'll see everybody in about 7 or 8 minutes.